Hello. Welcome to another episode of Pioneering Enchantment. I'm here with Ernest and David, and these are two gentlemen that I met online fairly recently due to a project they're both involved with. I believe they're the creators of, and it's called Find Your Spark. And it's about finding your spark and living your higher purpose. Ernest and David, thank you and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nick, for this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to kick off, firstly, I'm curious how the two of you perhaps met each other and then decided that this was the project that you wanted to work on and collaborate on, and in helping other people in that journey of finding a deeper calling.
Yes, a good question. Actually, we met at it was last year, we met at a presentation. The presentation about, it had quite a conspiratory material, I would say. So we met there for the first time and talked a little bit, but then we also somehow moved into the same community in Värmland in Sweden, because we two and a few other people, friends of ours, decided to live together for a while and see where it could lead us. We had some grand visions, but yeah, the community didn't really continue for that long. We split apart like after 5 months or so, but me and Ernest started to kind of work together because we found that we had similar interests when it comes to like coaching and personal development and stuff. Yeah, that's how we joined forces in this earthly mission.
Yeah, great. Anything to add to that, Ernest?
Yeah, both me and David have some background from coaching. I studied in university a bit about cognitive neuroscience and positive psychology and coaching, and I had that for an idea for a while to become a coach a couple of years ago. But I just found in my own inner work and process that life went a lot deeper than what they taught at universities. So I kind of quit that and trying to find ways to get my inspiration and sort of bring this message of inner work and that it's really possible to live in a flow, let's say, with life. Things can happen quite smoothly and a lot of inspiration can come out of you. So on those grounds, me and David connected, and we are very well suited for each other. I think we have different qualities that makes us a good team.
Yeah, beautiful. And so looking at your website, one of the kind of anchoring thoughts behind what you two are doing is this idea that one of the biggest regrets in life that people have is that they never really lived true to themselves. And so this work of finding your spark is the answer to that question, or the journey that seeks to answer that question, it seems like. So what are some of the things that you both see that really get in the way of people living from that place?
Yeah, I would say our upbringing, the conditioning program that we are move. It kind of molds us into one size fits all. Even though you might have like gifts in music and like the arts, but you might not be so encouraged to pursue that when you're young. So instead, you kind of move through this conditioning program, the school's education system, where you are forced to do things that your soul might not didn't came here to actually do. So as I see it, it's like we're wasting a lot of time in this system instead of early on encouraging our children to pursue those things that we came here to express and to be of service with. So that's how I see the reason why we end up not following our heart's desires. Instead, we do things that are expected of us and like following instructions. And I think it's sad, and that's one reason we want to create this challenge, this course.
Yeah. On the back of that, and this can go to you, Ernest. What do you see that most that most people are scared of when approached with this kind of question? On one hand, we feel like we would often many of us feel like we'd like to live a life full of more purpose and joy and meaning, but we're scared to take that leap. What do you think people are most often scared of?
Good question. Yeah, there's definitely some blockage to. I mean, there's definitely a leap of faith, I would say, in my own experience, to really step into the unknown and to start open up and to really start feeling deeper. And I think you just have to turn that around, and that is challenging, because when you start to think differently and ask different questions, then you maybe can't relate to your environment the same way, the same friends you have. I know for me, when I started to become serious about understanding who I am and living that, then I shifted like friends group a couple of times. And so I mean, change, I would say. And
and throughout this work, I think there can be the idea of, I want to discover my purpose, and that almost be an end goal, so that once you discover your purpose, then everything can be okay again. And in a way, I think we all know that marketing likes to condense things into a nice convenient story like that often. But in the reality of doing personal work and personal development and change, that change is often always present and often scary, as you said. So how do you view, or what would you like people who are on the road towards finding their purpose or living their calling, how might you recommend that they think about that journey so that they can get the most out of it, and understand that perhaps a purpose or a calling is also ever evolving?
Sure. I think I also would like to add to the last question. One big blockage for me was to really connect my emotions and to really like start opening up and feel the whole spectrum of what was actually going on. And I think that's a big blockage for people, that we are afraid to do that because certain emotions are kind of damped in society. Yeah, what I would recommend people is to, one mindset shift you can do is, because we are so conditioned to always think, where are we going to? Where are we going towards? And as you say, then purpose can just become like a thing out here that we are striving for. But I would shift that and instead focus on, where am I coming from? What's the place in me that I'm coming from, and like what's the intention behind there? And when you do that, then this whole world of your inner energy start opening up, and you can then start focus on kind of purifying that. And in a way, because we have so many energies in different directions, so a lot of the work is just like getting in there and being aware of it. And after some time, if we kind of do the work of releasing stuff and actually spending time just sitting down and integrating things, then things start to unify a bit more. And then we become this individual that all of a sudden kind of are on this road. And we have a structure that can hold that new creativity and ideas to start to live.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Would you like to add to that question, David?
I think for me it has been to actually start. The major shift happened for me when I actually all these signals, like, because when, as I see it, when our bodies are kind of resisting something, you keep doing it over and over again, but somehow your body gives you uncomfortable sensations. And now, I mean, I'm not talking like a few like occasions here and there. I'm talking about over and over again. And maybe even the uncomfortable sensations are like increasing in intensity. Then for me, it has been that has been a sign that there's something you're not doing right. It might be that you're in the wrong relationship, or you're in the wrong job. You are doing a task that you're, to put it frankly, you didn't came here to this planet to do that thing. It could be, for me, it was, I'm kind of technical person. I like to design and create content in that sense. So for me, yeah, I'm a very creative person. So like being an accountant wouldn't be a good fit for me. So like very like the natural sciences wouldn't be a thing for me. Like I studied astronomy. I tried a course in astronomy, but I felt that it wasn't. It was too. I would say maybe too binary, or too heavy for me, for my soul to do and focus on. It was not enough expression, not enough creative indulgence in that. So yeah, my advice there is to pay attention to your body and what it tells you. It could be many things like pains or strains, or like I think it's different for different people. For me, it has been in the like abdominal area. I have had challenges with staying in my power. That kind of body, it reflects in the solar plexus, the abdominal area. Like there's a heavy draining feeling that I'm kind of losing power. Then I know that I'm doing something here in this situation that is not aligned.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Yeah, great. I have a question on that as well, which would be, is there any practices that you would recommend to people that, you know, they can feel that something's not quite right, and what kind of practices might you recommend to just become more acquainted with those emotions and what they might be saying?
I can share actually a technique where, that we actually share in the course. It's called the intuition check, and it kind of ties into what I just said about the body signals. So, for example, let's say a friend approaches you and proposes a project. He or she wants to work with you in this project, and then you can kind of tune into intuition, into your body, the emotional guidance system, and feel if is there a rise in energy, like a subtle increase, or is it a drop? It might sound like a basic technique, but me myself, I have not always paid attention to those drops or rises in energy, and then it had consequences that I could, if I had listened to it, then I could have embarked on a different timeline.
Yeah, great, thank you.
So that's quite simple, but from my
Did you have something to add to that, Ernest?
Yeah, I can. What comes to me now is, I mean, oftentimes we want to understand things, and we kind of like, how can I solve this thing? But I think a big part of this is just to give the space for us to really drop into our body, and kind of imagine if you would live without a head. It's just your body, kind of just sitting. Maybe just, I mean, sit for 30 minutes, giving space for that, or you can do some light breathing, more intense, or you can do some light shaking with your body. I think those things are great for releasing things and just getting that inner fire going, which will automatically purify things. The more it kind of starts to burn, then more of our shadows comes up, and then it's just a matter of not being stuck in the shadows for too long, because when those maybe limiting ideas of this is impossible, or I'm not worthy of this, or we feel like all of a sudden all the color of life goes out, then just keep coming back, keep reminding us that no, there is this space within, and there is this journey I'm on that I'm supported on, and have some daily practices of just sitting, integrating, so we can start to activate our whole intelligence, because it's not just this little mind up here that can kind of solve things. A lot of things are happening under the surface, so tap into that intelligence.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I love both those answers, and the wisdom of, yeah, as you say, the whole intelligence that we have access to, rather than just trying to solve things with our mind. So when it comes to the challenge that you've designed, could you maybe speak to the audience a little bit about how you've thought about that process? It's 21 days. There's kind of 3 modules, which I noticed. So yeah, maybe just a chance to speak a little bit about the challenge and invite people onto it if they feel intrigued or interested by what you guys have created.
Awesome, yeah. So the first week, I mean, there is this in this book called Law of One. There is this saying that is, know yourself, accept yourself, become the creator. And it's a bit similar pattern we have chosen for this course, that the first week is really about asking deeper questions, because I would say the quality of your questions that you ask in life is kind of the quality of your thinking. So it's really start opening up, and we teach them how to contemplate deeper, how to set us in a state where we can actually think a lot clearer and make preciser intentions, and be receptive for that. And then the second week is a lot to do with releasing the blockages. that stands in our way. When we started to tap into this new energy inside of us, then we start to release the blockages that holds that back. So we call that release the river. And then the third week is all about start taking action and start setting up our environment for this calling inside of us, so it suits us and it can thrive in it. So that's the short for it, because I think it's very important, this combination of kind of taking in higher knowledge, let's say, that we teach in the first module. We teach this very powerful system where they will really get a map of their whole DNA, kind of, and what different functions and personalities and all those, let's say, archetypes that they have within have different levels it can express itself. So that's very potent knowledge to take, and you can absorb that information, but if you don't combine that with working on your being and the releasing stuff, then it won't really lead to any deeper understanding and embodiment. And that's what we want to give people. We want to build this 21-day container where they can really, in a way, separate from their normal life, go into this container, absorb this higher knowledge, and start doing practices to get the energy going, and then come out hopefully a better, fresher, more clear person. Would you like to add something, David?
I think it was a great summary you made there. I would like to add that it's when you hear that it's only a 21-day challenge, you might think, but am I supposed to find my spark and my calling in that short of a time frame? And of course, we have contemplated that. We also write it on the website that we don't expect you to have like discovered your higher calling in these 21 days, and but it's more about being realistic and offer a container where you can explore, like go dive deeper into your maybe hidden talents that you have, and or move deeper into talents that you know you already possess. And so it's more like a container where we offer opportunity for you to move closer to your spark and embodying it even more. And I like the expression like moving closer to your soul. That's what we want to offer here. So it's not, there's no like expectation of finding your destiny and then that's about it. It's a lifelong mission to live your spark and discover it. And we want to help you along the way and be this supportive container and like guiding you together with your fellow students, of course. So yeah, that's what we offer.
Yeah, wonderful.
And I can just share one with this system that we work on the first week with our DNA. One thing I have is called the Warrior of Light is the name of that specific genome. And the highest expression of that is really about honor and seeing people in their highest sort of version of themselves, the purest version. And I think that's a great gift to join this sort of container, that we look at each other really from that space, not from the space of like, what can I get from you or whatever. We're like really trying to hold each other to that highest potential and speak to that in the people, so that can really wake up.
Yeah, that's great. I think as another question to that note, then I would just be interested in how you view other people and community and the value that plays in finding your purpose.
I would say it has an enormous impact on our individual pursuit towards our calling. I mean, for example, when you join a course like this Spark community, you might, I think you'll do it for a reason. You might actually connect with a fellow student who might be your partner, your next partner, or like business partner, or you might get like a nugget of advice from one of your fellow students that could completely throw you into another trajectory. So just by I say it as we are mirrors of one another. Each of us carry codes in our DNA that are meant for others to receive. So I say it as that we activate each other with these codes that we carry. So yeah, it's very, very powerful stuff to meet people. And I also like this Jordan Peterson quote when he says, always assume that the other person knows something that you don't. So never judge someone too quickly. They might trigger you, or like I said, provide you with a nugget of wisdom that you might need to live your purpose. So.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we'd mentioned we'd keep this short, but this has been really, really cool. I think that there's a lot that I'm definitely intrigued about to kind of dive in and find more about how it's all structured. I of course have more questions, but I think let's keep it short and sweet. Is there any final words that either of you would like to share?
Well, I would like to say that in this society, I mean, the knowledge that we teach in this course, and I assume what you are teaching as well, Nick, it's not really taught us publicly in school, or most of us, our parents don't teach us this stuff. So I think it's a very opportunity and kind of responsibility in one way to actually absorb this stuff and make it, put it into practice, so we can really step up and step into our greatness. And there's a lot of opportunities on this planet now to do amazing stuff if we so long for that.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, given that questions are never something that I lack, I will hold on to that one. And I think that that's a great note to end on. I think that anyone who is kind of curious and interested and maybe haven't tried anything like this before, that this could be a really, it could be a good starting place. I think that there's lots of knowledge that you say that you don't have access to in the public sphere unless you take a leap of faith, and that can be a scary jump if you've never done that before. And I think the practices that take you into yourself and give you an opportunity to discover your emotional range and discover different kind of archetypes within yourself is a great way to realize how broad your potential can be. So yeah, I really like how you've seemed to have designed this course so far. And I encourage anyone who's interested to follow up with you. And when I post this, I'll tag you in it below, and so people can get in touch.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
This was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest.
Thank you a lot, Nick.
Thank you, David. All right, ta-ra.